What it is not doing is de-escalating, Martha. And we haven't seen the situation, really come down to a level where we feel very comfortable. As I said earlier in my press conference, we're watching this very, very closely. We remain deeply concerned. We've not seen any move by the Russians from a military perspective that they're willing to de-escalate the tensions around Ukraine.
Okay, that was Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo joins me now. Mr. Secretary, seems to me there's a couple of threats out there right now. Russia threatening to send troops to Cuba and Venezuela, and rockets, the threat number 2, rockets probably fired by Iranians at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Can we start with the threat to send troops by Russia to Cuba? How should we respond to that?
Well, Stuart, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. The mere fact that Vladimir Putin was willing to speak out loud about the risk of them sending Russian troops to Cuba tells you how weak this administration has been, and that they don't have any confidence that this administration will protect the most fundamental things, right? Our region, the place that we care so much about. We all know the history of bad guys on Cuba. We know how that ended. I don't know that Vladimir Putin will be serious about this. They've been playing around in Venezuela with technicians and the like for a while, and they certainly been helping Cuban intelligence services along the way as well. But to send troops, armed troops there, is fundamentally different, and the administration has to make clear that is unacceptable to us. There will be staggering costs imposed on them. But more importantly than saying that, Stuart, and I think here's the rub, it has to be demonstrable will, and whether it was the debacle in Afghanistan or whether it's what we've seen them do along the Russian western border and virtually no response from the United States, closing down our pipeline, a colonial pipeline from Russia for a few days. No response from an administration, just words, no deeds. That's dangerous and provocative, Stuart.
How do we respond to Iran? We got this report of rockets fired at America's embassy in Baghdad, probably by Iranians. How do we respond?
I'll tell you this. I can tell you how you don't respond. You should not be sitting with the Iranian leadership, a fellow named Ibrahim Raisi now running that regime, the president of the country who's killed thousands of his own people, while they're firing rockets at American diplomats and soldiers in Iraq, and sitting with them in Vienna saying, hey, can't we all just get along? We're happy to provide you with billions of dollars in financial relief so you can have more money to pay these, what were almost certainly Iranian proxy militias in Iraq who fired these weapons. They were probably Iranian weapons. We're sitting with them in Vienna saying, hey, can't we all just get along? The Iranians, much like Vladimir Putin, respect power. They understand how power is applied. It's not about sending thousands of American soldiers. We have so many more tools available. Those are the kinds of things we should make clear we're going to execute. And if we don't, we'll see more trouble. And eventually one of those rockets will land in an embassy, or one of these Russian soldiers will come across and hurt something and take something that Americans care deeply about here at home.
The website of the Iranian Ayatollah published an animated video that shows former President Trump being killed in a drone strike. Jen Psaki was asked about the video and she just didn't condemn it. What's your reaction?
We've seen Iranians threaten President Trump. We saw the head of the IRGC Quds Force threaten me and President Trump. They've come after people here in America. We saw that action that they took here on the ground in the United States. We know that they tried to kill the Saudi ambassador in Georgetown a few years back. These are nasty people, nation-state actors. Every administration has a responsibility to protect every American.
But should we actually do something?
I hope they'll do what Jake Sullivan did the other day and continue to make clear this is unacceptable. Even talking about this
is it time to do something, though? I mean, cut off the Nord Stream 2 pipeline or do something like that. And take actual action that's obvious to all.
Stuart, this is what I was talking about, words versus deeds. No, actual action is the thing that one has to do. They lobbied against Senator Cruz had a bill on Capitol Hill, and the administration told Democrats in the Senate, don't vote for that. A few of them ran through the stop sign and voted for it anyway. But no, we haven't seen any actions, demonstrable action by this administration that really imposes cost on the Iranians or the Russians. Indeed, what we've seen is further appeasement. And Stuart, we know the path this leads down. Reagan understood peace through strength. I hope that we did in the Trump administration, too. I hope these folks will get the right end of the stick on this.
Very dangerous situation. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So we appreciate it always.
Thank you, Stuart. So long, sir.